Yes, I know. Shooting your gun constantly is mundane. And that's why we need, get ready for it, skills. You would think space ninjas, warriors, gunslingers, brutes, casters, archers, whatever, would have more tricks up their sleeve than just putting their finger on the trigger and playing dress up. Remember how I said endgame is a state? This will push it further. Imagine this. You are an Excalibur, fully maxed out with mods, and your Dread and Graham are ribboned. You don't wear a pistol because it messes with your idea of being an archer, warrior, whatever. When you are making rewards, you base your ideas around this kind of player, and you start from there. You cannot fix guns with mods. And the reason being, and it's so very simple, is that shooting in Warframe is equivalent to a normal attack in RPG games. And I want y'all to really think about that for a second. When you are playing an RPG, or you're playing a fighting game, you have your normal attacks, and you have your special attacks, right? When you're using your normal attacks, you're building up to your special attack. Warframe does not have anything like this, right? When it comes to this sort of topic, you have to look a little bit deeper than just adding mods that increase damage. You have to expand on the literal gameplay of Warframe. You have to attack the personality of the player. You like bows? Okay, well, we have an ability or a special move you can use with your bow after you get so and so kills, right? You get four or five kills, you can do this barrage of arrows that you can fire back to back after each other that do increased damage and have increased critical multipliers and crit chance and damage and all that kind of stuff, right? That is balance. That is how you make gunplay better. That is how you justify the increased damage of primaries without it being so ridiculous while evolving the gameplay. Talking about how we can just add mods to the game will not fix that. If mods become way out of control, right, people are going to choose range over melee, or pick a specific weapon over melee. So you have to think about, okay, how can we trick the player into using this specific weapon, right? And how can we make this a specific weapon, or this weapon type? It doesn't have to just be a specific weapon. How can we make a weapon type a lot better? There's a lot of things that DE can do. In Devil May Cry, they have plenty of guns, but they don't just shoot. They have special attacks that you can perform, right? In a game called Dungeon Fighter, there's a class that shoots guns, right? They have special attacks outside of just shooting their guns, right? Imagine if Grineer weapons had a syndicate-based technique, right? That after a couple of kills with like a Grineer weapon, right, you can summon down like a box that has like a Grineer missile launcher arm thing, right? That connects to you, and then you can fire a barrage of missiles that have increased damage and crit chance, status chance, and all this other stuff,
right? Imagine that for a second. You're killing enemies with a Kuva Hind, right? You get like 5 kills, 10 kills, you summon down a box that lands in your map, you put your freaking hand in it, you pick it up, and then you just shoot a ton of missiles and you demolish a bunch of steel path enemies, right? Guns have no concepts behind them that backs and evolves the gameplay of Warframe. The devs are being too simple-minded. Players are being too simple-minded when they're talking about how to fix guns and melee. Melee has no weaknesses. In other games, melee has some sort of balance to it. If it's super strong, right, it has a reduction to speed or defense, right? Lack of mobility. If a weapon is fast, it has a lot of mobility, but it lacks power, right? Warframe has ignored this logic for too long until it built up to this point, right? Melee has no concepts behind it. It has no techniques behind it, right? There's nothing behind it other than the animator's free will to create these combos, right? That have no pacing, no timing, or anything to balance out how much power that they have, right? Like what's his name? Geoff, he's been saying it for years that we needed to slow down the animation, right? I agreed with him entirely, but he has to understand that animations in Warframe, combat animations in Warframe, have to be on point if you do that, right? Look at the stances in Warframe. I think because they know that stances are just going to be fast, that they don't have to pay attention to quality. The animation quality in Warframe when it comes to melee is hot potato buns. 10 stacks of cold procs. Right? They're weak. There's no style, there's no finesse, there's no technique to these combos. And because it's all about mashing until the enemy's dead, right? It's become brain dead, and that's what people have gone accustomed to. Warframe isn't trying to make players, they're trying to make drones. Warframe can have the best of both worlds if they try to figure out what their melee should be and what their gunplay should be like. It just requires a bit more work from the animation team. I've said this a long time ago, and I said that this is a gold mine. We need techniques for our combat. We are space warriors, we are beings that defy logic. It's a little bit ridiculous that we don't have anything that really shows that. We don't do any crazy attacks with our two-handed swords. We don't do any brilliant attacks with our bows or rifle. We don't have any amazing hand-to-hand combat, right? Even rifles, you can have some amazing hand-to-hand combat that you could switch from, right? Say you have a bunch of enemies, you could charge up your fist and punch a heavier unit and create a shockwave that pretty much cracks the armor of the enemy surrounding that heavy unit, right? Or a basic enemy, anything, right? And then you could just go back to shooting. We need techniques. That's it. We need something to evolve the gameplay. for the different weapon types. I don't care what it is exactly, right? If the concept artists and the animators need to watch a little bit more anime to get some ideas, watch some stick fighting animations to get some ideas, to watch some, you know, read some manga or something to get some ideas, I say go ahead. Go ahead. Like, play some other game, play some Street Fighter, play some Devil May Cry, play some Vindictus, play some Dragon Nest, you know, play some other games and just look at the combat system, look at how they handle these sort of things and be like, okay, well, for Warframe, we can do this, right? We can make some techniques instead of the animations that we release for clearing Steel Pass planets. We can use that money and that time to create some techniques every update or so that people can go around and, you know, hunt for and try to collect, right? You know, this is an idea that I had for the dreams of content where it tackles gunplay versus melee, introducing the ideas of techniques to the game, you know, ability improvements to the game, where not only does it involve like hunting and gathering and collection like Warframe is so very known for, but it provides a power fantasy, right? More than what is currently offered. But I digress. So, to recap what I said, and make this pretty short, you have to attack the player's personality. Adding mods will not fix this issue with gunplay and melee. It will not do not a goddamn thing. In order to get people to log back in order to add balance to the guns and to melee, you have to not only create concepts and adjust the weapon types, you have to add techniques to primaries and secondaries. Doing some crazy gun tricks, doing some crazy attacks with bows or rifles or shotguns, utilizing hand-to-hand combats, or firing off multiple arrows with like that's empowered with void energy or something like that, right? You have to think about how you're going to evolve the gameplay. Nothing else. Nothing else. And then you just add the acquisition aspect to it. You know, break the technique up into parts, into like concepts that the player has to find, you know, toss it into an enemy drop table, maybe add it to some steel path bosses, right? That players can go and, you know, go fight and farm and collect. You know what I'm saying? It just takes a little bit more effort than just adding mods. And I guess that's all I gotta say about the topic for now. If you wanna, you know, add a little bit more to what I'm saying, or if you agree or disagree, you know, just, you know, type it out in the comment section. You know, I read all my comments, all the comments that I leave a heart with. You know, I've read your comment, and I want you to know that. So, just go ahead and, you know, tell me what you think, and tell me how would you fix melee, and how would you fix gunplay in Warframe. Alright, catch y'all later.